So here we are again. It's wonderful to be here this time and all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, and this time to the Netherlands with my good friend Hubrien, who I met many years ago, right when life planning was just kind of launching. And he's always been wonderfully engaged with community and making things happen. And I remember that we connected beautifully back then around life planning. And then since then, we've done retreats together. Hubrien, of course, is a life planner in the Kinder Institute methodology, and he and I have talked periodically about a golden civilization as well. So I'm very intrigued what his thoughts are. I know he's been talking with his community. Hubrien, one of the leaders in the life planning community in the Netherlands. How are you? And what would you like to say? What have I missed in your bio? Recently married.
Well, recently, it's 2.5 years ago today, and my wife just calculated 913 days. So we're counting in days still.
Wow, fantastic.
We know each other a long time, but since you ask it, yes, it's fine. It's fine here. And when you ask this, I have to listen very carefully because, well, my English is not so well, but in any way, it's better than your Dutch.
Yeah, that's for sure.
No, it's fine here, and we are. The winter is starting. And I love that season, and well, I think you know something about winter and snow also.
Well, I'll just show everybody else. I showed you a minute ago. Look at this. We are in the middle. Of course, in America, everybody knows this. Let's see if it'll clarify. But we're in the middle of a real blizzard here. It's not showing it so much. But let me see if I can do this without losing the connection.
Well, I can tell everybody I saw it, and it was a really snowy place out there. Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So wonderful, Hubrien. So you've started winter there too, and tell me what is it that intrigued you? Why did you want to get together with me? And I know it's partly about a golden civilization and conversation and what your thoughts are, but yeah.
Well, just turn it around, George. You were asking me, and I said why. So let's talk. I'm just a simple financial life planner living in the middle of the Netherlands, and I'm doing my thing. Well, I also tried to get as soon as possible, as good as possible, to a golden civilization, as you call it. And I think a lot of people are working on that, and well, I try to do my best also. That's it.
Yeah. So when the last time Hubrien and I spent a good chunk of period of time together, we were at an old let's see, it was a service, a small mansion in England that was at one point run, I think, for, I don't know if it was for nuns, but definitely for people in a spiritual order in England. And we ran it we took it over as a meditation community for 5, 6, 7 days. And Hubrien was really insightful, even though he claims not to be so good in English, really insightful in his questions and his thinking. And so I did invite Hubrien to talk, and part of it was just knowing, Hubrien, that your thinking is really sharp and really deep. You've thought a lot about life planning. You've thought a lot about, you're in the financial world. You've thought a lot about the financial world, and about mindfulness and meditation, and recently about a golden civilization. And I know that you've been thinking as you've been preparing coming in today. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are no. I have to start a year or 15 ago when I transformed my life through a difficult period, and then I went into more mindfulness life. I started learning about Buddhism. I started doing meditations and that sort of things, and that's when life planning, you came in my life, not at this time as a teacher, a Buddhist teacher, but more as a life planner teacher. There was a period, and then, well, I'm learning still, and I've transformed my life and my business also. And one of the turning points in my life was when, a year or 10 ago, I was in Amsterdam, and I was visiting a meeting of the Dalai Lama, and one question was from the audience, how can we do the best for the planet? Can we chant together or something like that? And he laughed. You see him laughing. And he said, no, no, no. I said, just do as simple as that. Do whatever you can do, the best you can do in your circle of influence. How big or small it is, doesn't matter. Because if everybody does that, the world is like this, is better. And then he laughs again and says, next question. And it was so, well, it was so simple, but the simple things are the most difficult things I've learned. And I thought, yes, I have to do it myself. So now what can I do in my profession? Well, I can do a better financial service. I think it's better. Everybody may have his point on that. So I integrated life planning, and I want to make it so as sustainable as possible. Because I'm very good at numbers, financial planning, but the numbers don't mean a thing to people if they're not connected to the goals and the dreams from them, not from me, from them. What I think or do is not interesting at all. I try to help people as good as possible. So when I help them, and I help them reaching their goals and their dreams in a sustainable way, well, then I'm helping myself and I'm helping the world a little bit, I hope. Well, that's my job, and that's what I do. So I do a lot of things, and I'm, well, specialized on this subject, financial life planning, for people, a lot of people, entrepreneurs mostly. And I do a lot of sustainable investing. That's one of my specializations, and that's going to get bigger the coming years. And well, that's my thing, to try to get a better world. Yeah, just like that. And I found out, and that's the link between mindfulness meditation and the financial world, and I think everything in the world, that you can't do your job. I can't do my job when I'm not connected with myself, when I don't know what's happening in me. So I have to sit or walk or do my thing, or do my yoga, or go in the nature. I'm living here in nature, and I'm very happy to get connected with myself, to get open, to get my thoughts, well, not as much here as normally, and then I can, how do you call it, set myself, well, connect myself with the people, and do my thing as good as possible. And that's difficult, and I think it will stay difficult until the rest of my life. Yeah. So no pension for me. Well, because when I tell my people I'm doing, a lot of people have beautiful jobs and do things, but I honestly think I have the most beautiful job in the world. So there's no way I'm going to quit this job. So you will see a lot of me the coming decades.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As long as I've known you, Hubrien, one of the things that's been remarkable about you is that you've been really entrepreneurial in your own life, and kind of invented and reinvented a way of kind of engaging with the world, and always in a way that has felt to me to be tapping into what you understand in that at that particular time as being your own authenticity, your own truth. And so I saw this when life planning came out. I saw this in your building community there in the Netherlands. I'm hearing it now as you've adopted life planning, and I mean both life planning and mindfulness. So you're discovering what this truth is, and then attempting to deliver it into the world. I'm wondering, as you talk and as you describe your engagement with life planning, you used to do financial planning in a traditional financial way. And now you're doing life planning, which you've described as being more in line with the goals and aspirations of a client. What have you seen? How do you know that what you're doing now is really very different, is really contributing to the world in a very positive way, that you don't see your old style as contributing nearly as much? What is it that shifted for you in your understanding? Why is it that you've adopted this so strongly?
I think I can see it on two ways. One way is that clients follow their plan. Not all, but more clients. We people are very rare species. I think that's the name. And we don't like changes much, and financial stuff nobody likes, except me and some other a few percent of people. But when I make a good plan when they make their plan, I just help them. Well, I'm facilitating. And when they make their plan, and it's their plan, and they're going, I see they're following it. And we have to adjust, of course. It's also an adjustment. Life changes, but they follow it. And in the past, they didn't follow it because it was not their plan. It was just numbers. So I made a plan, and it went, well, they looked at it and they went on with their lives. And now, of course, a lot of people, more still people go on with their life, but a lot of people are changing their lives because they are having a plan that fits them, because it's connected here and not here.
Yeah.
And when it's connected here, it works. It's right and it works. So that's one. And when you look in the plan, almost every financial life plan has a big part on investing. Or if you're old or young, it doesn't matter. If you're old, you have invested, you're living, or maybe you're transferring it to your children or grandchildren. If you're young, you're saving or investing for the future. So that's a perfect possibility to help to make it big, save this world. These days, these years, there's a lot of talking about our Earth, and I'm happy with that. And because it's the only way that we get insight in what's happening. And what's happening is that there is a chance of more than 90% that we're not going to survive in the next decades. That's a possibility. It's a really big possibility. Not 1 degree or 2 degrees or 4 degrees Celsius, but more, and that's 90% now. But there is still a chance of 10% that we are going to survive and we are going to make it. Well, I'm for that 10%, because otherwise, sit in a corner and do your thing and just stay there. And I'm not one of that. So I'm in the. I have my feet on the ground here. I'm just thinking, okay. So when you invest sustainable. Invest in the energy transition, in companies who do as good as possible, who do not help to finish our Earth. And it is very simple. When people ask me why, because they have not thought about it, and that's possible. I have thought about it, and I'm a specialist on that, but I can't expect that from everybody. I said there are two reasons. One reason is pure financial. You get a good or better return than traditional investments. And the second, it's very simple. When we don't invest sustainable in other companies, don't invest at all, because then we have no world where you can live from your investment, or you can see your children enjoy your investments or their investments. I think it's very simple. So that's the connection for me for the financial world and, well, the rest of the world. We're all is one. We're all connected. Everything is connected. So I think this is a way. There are a lot of ways and a lot of people who are helping, well, to get a little bit, well, our society in the direction, in a fast direction to the golden civilization, as you call it.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, wonderful, Hubrien. And I concur, and it's wonderful to hear your thoughts and how you frame it, because I mean, I'm hearing two things. One is that life planning, first of all, the life planning piece, and then the sustainable investing piece. And in regard to the life planning, what you're experiencing is people are following through on their plans that they didn't used to do in the old days. And the reason that I'm hearing is that what you're doing with life planning for the first time is you're really connecting it. And here we don't get the hands in here, but in the heart, at the heart, you're really connecting to them. And what that means is that they are, as they're engaging with the world in all the ways that they spend their money, in all the ways that they support their family and engage in their community, that they are really thinking consciously and feeling in a kind way toward doing the things that they know are right, and doing the things that they feel are good. Mm-hmm. And life planning adds that to anyone's connection with money, which is quite an extraordinary thing. So one of the things you're doing, just as I was talking about you doing this, but one of the things I'm hearing that you're doing is essentially connecting whatever savings they've gone through, whatever earnings they're making, they're connecting it to their own authenticity, to their own heart, their own good-heartedness, their own kindness. Yeah. Dalai Lama talks a lot about just go out and do kindness in your neighborhood. So that's the first thing, is just life planning is really connecting from in here. And then the second piece I'm hearing is that we also need something kind of out there, because the system's all messed up. And yeah, if we all have good hearts, then the Dalai Lama is right. But what about if the 1% or 1/10 of 1% up at the top don't have those good hearts? Are we really going to do it? And so your thought, what you're doing in your investing, is you're saying, okay, let's just invest in the aspects of the world and of commerce, of markets that are for sustainability for the planet, so that we have a better chance of survival. And I'm hearing as well great fear from you in the Netherlands, and I think this fear is shared by people who are educated all over the world. Great fear that, in fact, we may be facing our own extinction if we don't pay attention.
No, and we have to face that, and that's a reality. But yeah, well. Have said that, we have to go on. We have to do our thing. Well, like I say it every day, smile and go. Yeah, and give big hugs and that sort of things. Yeah, that's because when we are, and we have to say, we can say, well, the top of the world have not good hearts. Well, I don't agree with that. I think everybody has a good heart. Everybody in essential and has a good spirit, but the spirit is clouded most of the time, mine also, your less, with a lot of things, and fear and greed, but fear the most from a lot of people. And I think the more you are at the top, at the 1%, the more you see the fear, and the more they are not connected to, they are living in their reality, and we are living in our reality. And is ours more worth than theirs? I don't know. Is that so? Right? I think so. We have to keep on connecting with people on other realities. I don't know if I say this right, but for example, you can't expect people who are just working people. Is that blue collar in America? How do you call it?
We call it working class. Yeah, working.
They're just working. They're working a lot of time. They're working. They have a lot of on their mind, and their families and things. You can't expect them to be busy with deforestation or the climate change. They are happy if they have enough food the other day. That's also a reality we have to face, and that's the reason. And that's a reason why, well, we don't get as much support as we need, because we see, well, we have a problem with the earth, and we're in the luxury that we can make this happen, and make this a life thing. We can talk to people. We're sitting. I've just been eating, and I'm getting a dessert after this. Well, we have an extremely good life. So it's I think it's very important that we keep connecting with each other, to everybody, because you see the world going more and more apart. The people who say yes, we're going, the doers and the don'ters. That's not the English word, but well, the do-notters. But we're all one. We all are one. So we have to keep on listening to each other, have compassion with each other. So no, that's on a level. When we have compassion, then we can have a connection, and that is very important. To get together to again the goal of civilization as soon as possible, please.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're my challenge in the book, of course, and when we're leading these golden civilization conversations all over the world, the challenge is to do it within a single generation. That it's just time. That corruption doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that we have this climate denial and this fear of actually losing our Earth. It's just insane. And so to build a sustainable Earth, we really need a sustainable democracy, a sustainable system of civilization, a sustainable system of capitalism, sustainable system of markets that won't lead us down these crazy paths that have destruction at their end. So it's been very, it's actually been interesting, Hubrien, because as you know, I've been all over the world now, in cities in Asia and Europe, and we've also had conversations in Africa and I believe in South America as well. Now, I haven't been to them, but hundreds of conversations now all over the world, and you'll be interested. Maybe you already have gathered this, but when you mention fear and greed, they're probably two of the 5 major things that come up when we ask people to imagine and describe the golden civilization. Fear and greed aren't there at all, but then we go, okay, so what could get in the way? Yeah. And of course, the 2 of the top 5 things are fear and greed. Yeah. And as you mentioned, fear is often the number one that people realize that's really often underlying greed is fear. So how do we tame that? And you've talked about compassion and doing good works. I think that I have hope that mindfulness that the more we spread a meditative practice, the less attached people might be. But then again, we keep coming back to, all right, but the systems, if we don't have a sustainable democracy that's compassionate, that a sustainable system of markets, do you think that impact investing is sufficient, or do you think more needs to be done in terms of, you've been around the financial world for a long time.
There is a lot that needs to be done, but well, I recall what you say. What first has to be done is the work inside everybody. I really would suggest to the authorities in the Netherlands and all over the world that in the exams for a financial advisor, you have to get a mindfulness or meditation retreat training. Yeah. Because when you do that, you my experience and everybody's experience with meditating or doing mindfulness is that you don't eye your thoughts, you look at your thoughts, and then you look at your fears, and you can smile at it, and you can honor it, but you can go on. Yeah. So when you don't have that experience, you think that you keep on thinking that you are your thoughts, and that's gonna change anything. So the major shift is happening inside everybody. So and I see this happening in companies. I see it happen in companies that there are more and more is interest in meditation and mindfulness, and that's very important. That's very important. Also at the management of companies, well, that is a start. And well, if and then go into the product of investing, impact investment is enough. We have to keep going, and if we all try to do our best, it will be enough. It must be enough. It's very difficult. So what I said before, there is a very big chance that it is not enough that we do at this moment, and everybody says it's not enough. But well, in this world, this is what's happening. This is the reality, and we all have to face from that reality. Then we have to go on. So accept the reality that this is our world, and accept that if we want to have a world and if we want to live together in a more proper way, we think there's a more proper way, then things have to change. Yes. But they don't change when we say you have to do this or that, because then we just get another civilization. Right. It's another sort, and then we will be the how do you call it? Whatever. Then we are the new bosses, to say how it is. People have to feel it themselves. It has to come from the people themselves. That's my opinion. Yeah. And you don't do it. Well, when I'm busy and I'm mostly very serious, I get sometimes really angry, and then that's not happening. Then people get whoa. When I get angry, people get whoa. So you have seen a little bit on the retreat in England, and but then again, I went back and I can smile and I can say sorry. But yeah, that's because I'm concerned. I'm just concerned.
Yeah. So it's wonderful, Hubrien, and that we think about it going back to the old 7 stages of money maturity work, the resentment, blame, and complaint, this notion that you fix it, you do it, and all this, that just blaming it on our politicians or government, rather than just saying, well, wait a minute, it's not getting done. I've got to make it happen. Yeah. And I'm going to make it happen. If I make it just happen in my small way, that'll contribute, but I'm no longer going to resent, blame, and complain. I'm going to get busy and make it happen. And I think that's what I'm hearing you say, is that we need to, in a way, that if you go back to the Buddhist philosophy, there's an aspect of waking up there, of not just being passive and lethargic in relation to the world, but actually taking it on. The other thing that I'm hearing from what you just said is, let's make it a requirement. Let's make mindfulness a requirement of the exams for people who want to invest or be advisors. Let's make them part of their requirement, be something that has to do with internal work. I mean, it might be empathy, it might be mindfulness, it might be ethics. Back when Confucius reigned in he didn't know he was going to actually make a difference. He died and hardly knew. Took 200 years after his death. But what came out of that in China was a system that was, half of it was about the system and be intelligent and do a difference in the government and all, and the other half was about ethics and morality. And that when you chose someone who had influence or impact in their society, that person had to be trained in both, in ethics and good-heartedness, as well as in actually thinking through systemic structures.
And it's not and it's not so difficult, because on every, we're talking about Buddhism, but also in the Christianity or the Islam or the Indian, it's the Hinduism. In every basic of every society is goodness, that we try to help each other and we're there for each other. That's why we're here on this earth, I think, and a lot of people think that. And so still keep on going back to the basics. That's important for everybody, I think.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, wonderful.
And I'm trying to do this here.
Yeah. Well, I know you are, and it's always a pleasure to learn what you're doing and what you're thinking. We're coming toward the end of time here. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the community?
No, I'm happy that you started this community, gave it a place, and I try to also I try to embrace it and make it bigger in the Netherlands, in the time and the possibilities I have. And just let's do it and just go on. We don't have time to stand still and watch. We have to go on. But we have to stand still a while. But it's the meditation part. Just to sit and feel: am I doing the right thing today? And when I have the possibility at night to look in the mirror and say, well, was it a good day? Well, I hope I can say yes. That's not every day, but more and more.
Yeah. All right. Good, Hubrien. Well, great to talk with you. I look forward to hearing more about what's happening with Golden Civilization in the Netherlands. I know that there is a lot of interest. We've certainly done a few there, and of what we call Golden Civilization conversations that have a format of life planning and move people to action, which is just great. Thank you so much for coming on board, and I look forward to talking with you again very soon.
Yeah, well, 2020, come to the Netherlands, do the talking, do the conversations, do the retreat, and step by step.
Fantastic. Now I'm next coming to Europe in May, and then again in November. So keep that in mind, and I'd love to come over again. It was so much fun to be there this June. I missed you, or July. I missed you this summer, but love to come again.
All right. Well, you're welcome. Thank you, and have a good time.
Dankjewel. And graag gedaan. Bye.